A lion never turns around when a small dog barks. This ancient proverb isn't just about lions. It's a perfect metaphor for the elusive Sigma male. Quietly confident, fiercely independent, and entirely unbothered by the noise of the crowd, the Sigma male embodies a mindset most can't comprehend: the complete disinterest in proving anything to anyone. Here's a fact to chew on. The average person spends over 2 hours a day scrolling social media, subtly or not so subtly, seeking approval from likes, comments, and digital pats on the back. But a Sigma male, he'd rather spend those hours honing his craft, building his empire, or simply enjoying his solitude. He's the guy who deletes social media apps, not out of rebellion, but because he forgot he even had them. Why do Sigma males live this way? It's not arrogance, nor is it laziness. It's the understanding that proving yourself is like trying to argue with a pigeon. You can shout, debate, and flex all you want, but in the end, the pigeon just keeps pecking around like nothing happened. For a Sigma, the need to prove oneself is a game for the insecure, and he's not even on the field. What makes this mindset so intriguing, even enviable? In a world obsessed with validation, the quest for approval often becomes an endless, exhausting cycle. But what if there was a way to break free from this game? What if you could live life on your own terms, without the constant need to impress, prove, or justify yourself to anyone? Let's dive into the world of the Sigma male and uncover why his quiet defiance makes him the ultimate outlier in a world obsessed with validation. Number 1. Proving is a waste of time. Proving yourself to others is one of the most draining and time-wasting pursuits in life, and Sigma males understand this better than anyone. They know the moment you start chasing approval, you've already lost control. Trying to live up to someone else's standards is like running a race where the finish line keeps moving. No matter how fast you go, you'll never get there. Sigma males see this endless cycle for what it is: a trap that robs you of your time, energy, and focus. Instead of worrying about what others think, they choose to invest their energy in things that matter to them. Whether it's building a skill, pursuing a passion, or simply enjoying the silence of their own company, they understand that time is their most valuable currency. Proving yourself to others is a poor investment with no guaranteed return. Why spend your time and effort trying to impress people who likely won't remember you a week later? Sigma males also recognize that validation is fleeting. Even if you succeed in proving yourself, the applause will eventually fade, leaving you to start the cycle all over again. They'd rather create something meaningful, something that speaks for itself, than waste time explaining their worth. To them, actions carry far more weight than words ever could. But here's the kicker. By not trying to prove themselves, Sigma males often end up commanding even more respect. People are naturally drawn to those who exude quiet confidence and don't beg for attention. In the end, their refusal to play the game often gives them an edge over those who exhaust themselves chasing approval. They understand that the best way to win is simply not to play. Number 2. The silent leader philosophy. Sigma males embody a unique form of leadership that doesn't rely on loud declarations or constant persuasion. They don't stand at the front of the room demanding attention or recognition. Instead, they quietly show the way through their actions. Their leadership style isn't about forcing others to follow, it's about inspiring others to respect and emulate them because of what they do, not what they say. This silent leadership stems from a deep-rooted self-assurance. Sigma males don't feel the need to validate their authority by asserting dominance or boasting about their achievements. They're not interested in titles, applause, or the external trappings of power. For them, leadership isn't a role to be claimed, but a byproduct of living authentically and pursuing excellence. What sets them apart is their ability to inspire without effort. Their actions are deliberate, their focus unwavering, and their results undeniable. People naturally gravitate toward this quiet confidence, finding it far more compelling than the loud, performative leadership styles often seen in the spotlight. A Sigma male's success isn't loud or flashy. It's the kind of success that speaks for itself, often leaving others wondering, how does he do it? But what makes this philosophy so powerful is its authenticity. Sigma males lead because they embody the qualities others respect, not because they're seeking approval. They don't play politics, manipulate, or seek validation. This makes their leadership not just effective, but genuine, earning them trust and admiration without ever having to demand it. In a world where many leaders are desperate to prove their worth, the Sigma male stands apart as a quiet force, showing that true leadership doesn't need to shout. It simply exists. Number 3. Self-worth is an internal equation. For Sigma males, self-worth is a deeply personal and internalized concept, one that is untouchable by outside opinions or societal standards. They don't look to the world for a mirror to reflect their value. They build their own. This self-created identity is rooted in their principles, passions, and the life they've consciously chosen to lead. It's an equation that only they understand, with variables that are meaningful to them alone. When someone relies on external validation to determine their worth, they hand over the keys to their identity. Sigma males see this as a dangerous compromise. Allowing others to dictate your value means constantly adjusting who you are to meet shifting expectations. For a Sigma, that's the equivalent of living on quicksand, where nothing feels solid or authentic. By contrast, their self-worth is unshakable because it doesn't rely on external input. It's a fortress built on self-awareness, independence, and an unwavering commitment to their values. Proving themselves to others would require them to break this autonomy, and for a Sigma male, that's simply not an option. Seeking validation would mean aligning their identity with someone else's standards, which contradicts the very essence of who they are. Instead, they remain steadfast in their belief that the only opinion that truly matters is their own. This perspective not only protects their sense of self, but also frees them from the exhausting cycle of comparison and competition. They don't waste time trying to impress people who may not even understand their journey. Instead, they focus on living authentically, trusting that their worth is inherent and doesn't need to be proved, explained, or justified to anyone. For a Sigma male, self-worth isn't something that can be given or taken. It's something they've built within themselves, and it's there to stay. Number 4. Energy economics. Sigma males approach life with a keen sense of energy economics, understanding that their time, focus, and emotional reserves are finite. For them, proving oneself to others is the equivalent of throwing money into a pit. You pour so much in, but you get little to nothing back. Instead of chasing the approval of others, they conserve their energy and direct it toward pursuits that genuinely matter to them. Every interaction and decision for a Sigma male is assessed for its return on investment. They're not cold or unfeeling, they're simply practical. Engaging in the act of proving oneself, whether through arguments, appearances, or accolades, requires emotional labor that rarely yields any lasting satisfaction. They see it as a short-term distraction, one that takes away from long-term growth and fulfillment. This energy-first mindset means they invest heavily in things that align with their personal goals. Whether it's mastering a skill, building something meaningful, or pursuing intellectual growth, their focus is razor-sharp. They don't feel the need to divert that focus toward convincing others of their worth. They know that proving yourself often has more to do with feeding someone else's ego or fitting into a system they have no interest in. By refusing to waste energy on external validation, Sigma males create an unparalleled sense of clarity and purpose. Their goals are their own, their path is self-defined, and their actions are deliberate. They're not concerned with applause or opinions. They measure success by the progress they've made on their terms. This refusal to expend energy on things that don't serve their purpose not only keeps them grounded, but also allows them to achieve far more than those who scatter their energy trying to impress others. Number 5. Proving is a byproduct of insecurity. To Sigma males, the very act of trying to prove yourself reeks of insecurity. They see it as an admission that you need external validation to feel complete. For them, this is a fundamental contradiction. They believe true confidence comes not from convincing others of your worth, but from being at peace with yourself, flaws and all. Sigma males understand that the desire to prove oneself often stems from a deep fear of inadequacy. It's a way of masking perceived shortcomings and seeking approval to fill internal gaps. But for a Sigma, embracing those gaps is where real strength lies. They don't waste time pretending to be perfect or molding themselves to fit someone else's idea of success. Instead, they own their imperfections, seeing them as part of their unique identity. This self-assurance makes proving oneself irrelevant. A Sigma male doesn't need to show the world he's capable, intelligent, or worthy. He already knows he is. This isn't arrogance. It's a quiet, unshakable confidence that stems from self-awareness and acceptance. In a world where many people exhaust themselves projecting an image of perfection, the Sigma's authenticity stands out. Their ability to embrace their flaws also allows them to grow without fear of judgment. They don't see mistakes or shortcomings as something to hide. They see them as opportunities to improve. This mindset frees them from the exhausting cycle of proving and defending themselves, leaving them with the mental and emotional space to focus on what truly matters. For a Sigma male, needing to prove anything would mean they're still seeking validation from others, and that's a game they've already decided not to play. Instead, they focus on living authentically, knowing that their value isn't up for debate, it simply is. Number 6. Proving means being defined by others. When you make it your mission to prove yourself to others, you're giving them the power to decide your value. You're handing over the pen and letting them write the story of who you are. Sigma males see this as a fundamental loss of control, a compromise they're never willing to make. To them, proving yourself is nothing more than surrendering to someone else's standards, and that's the fastest way to lose sight of your true self. Sigma males understand that society often imposes arbitrary criteria for success, worth, and respect. These criteria shift depending on the environment, the people involved, or even the trends of the moment. Playing this game means constantly adjusting who you are to fit someone else's expectations, a cycle that never ends. For a Sigma, this is not only exhausting but also a betrayal of their authenticity. Instead of seeking approval, Sigma males set their own benchmarks for success. They don't measure themselves against others or let external opinions dictate their path. Their value system is entirely self-defined, built around their personal goals, principles, and passions. By rejecting the need to prove themselves, they maintain full ownership of their identity. This mindset gives them an unmatched sense of freedom. They don't have to worry about whether they're meeting someone else's expectations or living up to societal norms. They're free to pursue what truly matters to them on their own terms without being constrained by external judgment. For Sigma males, the act of proving oneself is more than just unnecessary. It's a trap. It's a way of being boxed in by someone else's narrative. By refusing to participate, they remain in control of their own story, defining their worth in a way that no one else can challenge. Number 7. Authenticity can't be proven. For Sigma males, authenticity is not something you can put on display or perform for others. It's not about proving who you are, but simply being who you are. They understand that the moment you try to prove your authenticity, you've already undermined it. Authenticity, by its very nature, is felt. It's something people perceive instinctively, not something that requires explanation or validation. Trying to prove authenticity is, in their eyes, a contradiction. It turns something raw and genuine into a performance, diluting its essence for the sake of approval. Sigma males see no value in this. They aren't interested in bending themselves into a more palatable version to win the favor of others. If someone doesn't recognize or appreciate their authenticity, it's not their problem. It's simply a sign that they're not on the same wavelength. Sigma males also recognize that proving yourself often comes with strings attached. It usually means conforming to someone else's expectations or standards, which feels disingenuous to them. They would rather remain misunderstood than compromise who they are for superficial gain. To a Sigma, the price of acceptance isn't worth the cost of losing their authenticity. What's more, Sigma males trust that the people who matter, those who are perceptive and genuine themselves, will naturally recognize their authenticity. They don't need to sell it, showcase it, or argue for it. It's self-evident, and if it isn't, they're content to move on. In a world where so many people are busy curating their lives for validation, Sigma males stand apart by simply being real. They know that the most powerful way to prove their worth is not to prove it at all, because authenticity isn't a show, it's a state of being. Number 8. Proving creates dependency. For Sigma males, the act of proving oneself is more than just unnecessary, it's dangerous. They understand that the moment you start chasing approval, you become emotionally tethered to the opinions of others. The applause, the validation, the recognition, it all feels good at first, but it comes with a hidden cost: dependence. Sigma males refuse to fall into this trap because they know it's a slippery slope toward losing control over their sense of self. When you rely on others to validate your worth, you give them power over you. Their approval becomes your fuel, and without it you feel empty or uncertain. Sigma males see this as a form of emotional enslavement. To them, true independence isn't just about living on your own terms, it's about being immune to the highs and lows of external judgment. They'd rather operate in silence and solitude than live in the unpredictable shadow of someone else's opinion. This emotional independence allows Sigma males to make decisions that align with their values and goals, not with what will earn them praise. They don't feel the need to explain their actions, justify their choices, or seek permission to live the way they want. They understand that proving yourself to others is a never-ending cycle. Once you meet one expectation, another appears. It's a treadmill they have no interest in stepping onto. By avoiding the need to prove themselves, Sigma males protect their autonomy. They remain rooted in their own identity, unshaken by criticism or the lack of recognition. Their worth isn't determined by external applause, but by their own standards and achievements. In rejecting the dependency that comes with validation, they achieve a level of emotional freedom that many only dream of. Number 9. The futility of validation. Sigma males have a sharp understanding of the futility of seeking validation. They know that no matter how much effort you put into proving yourself, there will always be someone, somewhere, who finds a reason to doubt you. It's an endless game with no true winner. Just a cycle of jumping through hoops to satisfy people who may never truly appreciate or understand your worth. To Sigma males, this is a waste of precious time and energy. The world is full of critics, and no matter how much you do or how hard you try, there will always be someone ready to tear you down or criticize your actions. Sigma males are acutely aware of this, which is why they refuse to engage in the validation-seeking game at all. They understand that if you constantly base your self-worth on the fluctuating opinions of others, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. In the pursuit of proving yourself, you'll never be able to please everyone, and often you won't even satisfy the people you care most about. This recognition of the futility of validation frees Sigma males from the need to impress or seek approval. They don't spend time worrying about what others think of them, because they understand that it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. They've realized that validation is often a fleeting, hollow thing, like a sugar rush that leaves you empty after the initial high. Instead, Sigma males choose to focus on what really matters: personal growth, meaningful work, and the satisfaction that comes from within. Opting out of the endless game of validation is liberating. Sigma males are free to live life on their terms, unhindered by the constant push for approval. They don't need external validation because they've already given themselves permission to be who they are. In the end, they know that true fulfillment doesn't come from others' praise. It comes from the quiet confidence that you are enough, just as you are. Number 10. Legacy over recognition. For Sigma males, the idea of recognition is fleeting and superficial. They don't care for applause in the here and now, because they know that recognition often fades as quickly as it comes. What truly matters to them is the legacy they leave behind, something that stands the test of time and speaks to the impact they've made long after they're gone. While others are chasing the next moment of validation, Sigma males are quietly focused on building something that will continue to matter, something that endures. The pursuit of legacy is rooted in a deeper sense of purpose. It's not about making noise or getting noticed. It's about creating something lasting, whether that's through their work, their contributions to society, or the values they instill in others. Sigma males understand that a life of true value is one that leaves a mark, a tangible imprint on the world that doesn't depend on the fleeting approval of others. For them, it's about making a meaningful difference, regardless of whether anyone recognizes it in the moment. Sigma males know that most recognition is short-lived. It's the legacy, the lasting influence they leave, that counts. This mindset frees them from the desperation of needing to prove themselves to others because their focus is always on the bigger picture. They are building something that will live on beyond their own existence. While others are busy collecting trophies or trying to stay in the spotlight, Sigma males are quietly laying the foundation for something far more significant, something that will speak for itself long after the noise fades. They don't need to be noticed in the moment because they understand that the true measure of their worth will come from the legacy they leave behind. In the end, Sigma males are the rare few who have cracked the code of true self-sufficiency and quiet power. Their refusal to prove themselves to others isn't a sign of arrogance, but of deep inner clarity. They understand that real value isn't something you can showcase through external validation or temporary applause. It's something that comes from within, shaped by personal principles, an unwavering sense of purpose, and a commitment to authenticity. Sigma males know that trying to meet others' expectations only leads to dependency, frustration, and an endless cycle of proving something that can never truly be proven. Instead, they choose a different path, one where their actions speak louder than words. Their focus is unwavering, and their energy is always spent on what matters most to them. They understand that recognition is fleeting, but a well-lived life, grounded in their own self-worth, creates a legacy that transcends time and the shallow opinions of others. They lead by example, not by persuasion, and define their value on their own terms, free from the constraints of external judgment. By choosing not to play the game of proving themselves, Sigma males gain the ultimate freedom, the ability to live life on their own terms, in alignment with their true selves. They are the silent leaders, the independent thinkers, and the quiet creators who shape the world in ways that require no validation. And perhaps the greatest lesson they offer us all is this: that true power lies not in the need to prove anything, but in the quiet confidence of simply being who you are. If you found this perspective on Sigma males insightful and empowering, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more thought-provoking content. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this with anyone who might need a little reminder that self-worth comes from within.